Have you ever felt that just crushing weight of carrying something for way too long? Maybe it's a secret, or a resentment that's just
No.
hard, or a past event that just won't let go. It's that tightness in your chest, maybe tension in your shoulders, that feeling of being totally, utterly stuck. A burden you might have gotten so used to you almost forgot it, well, it wasn't supposed to be there. Today on the Deep Dive, we really want to explore that feeling, that experience of letting go. What does it actually mean to release something that feels like it's part of you? Why is it so incredibly hard for us? And how can we find that relief, that sense of release that sometimes feels, well, impossible?
It's interesting because letting go, it's everywhere in self-help, right?
Yeah.
But the research, it shows it's not just some vague idea. It's actually a really crucial human developmental process, kind of overlooked in a lot of psychology literature, funnily enough, even though we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's way more than just separation. It's an active journey.
Yeah.
Something you do internally to free yourself.
Yeah. That framing feels really important. An active journey. And to really get it, we're going to dig into some powerful stories, real stories, and insights from the research we looked at. Because, hearing the theory is one thing. Seeing how people actually navigated it, even when it felt impossible, that's something else. So, okay, let's start there. What is this burden exactly? What gives it that weight?
Well, the tough reality is almost everyone goes through some kind of trauma. There were surveys, big ones, across 6 continents. Over 70% of adults said they've been exposed to a traumatic event. And get this, over 30% experienced 4 or more. And trauma here, it's broad. It's not just, the huge dramatic events. It could be a really painful breakup, a major illness, losing someone, losing a job, infidelity, even things like violence, discrimination, racism. These are things that fundamentally shake up how we see ourselves, how we see the world. And what's really fascinating, or maybe concerning, is how these unprocessed emotions, they don't just stay in your head. The research suggests they can literally get stuck in the body. That feeling, clenched jaw when you're stressed, or like chronic tightness of your hips. It doesn't make sense physically. We still need more research to connect specific emotions to specific body parts, definitely, but the link seems pretty strong. Our bodies hold on to this stuff.
Wow, stuck in the body. That feels very real. Does that mean just thinking our way out of it? Cognitive stuff might not be enough if we aren't dealing with the physical side too. And it doesn't help that we're often told to just, suck it up, soldier on,
Right.
bury the pain, pretend it's fine. We probably all have that messy emotional drawer we just keep shoving things into.
Absolutely. That unconscious avoidance or emotional repression, it has real consequences. Studies have actually found a direct link between repressing emotions and, decreased immune system function.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it's not just a mental weight. It can actually impact our physical health.
Okay, so it's clear this struggle, this difficulty letting go, it's deep in our psychology. There's that sort of primal fear of the unknown you mentioned.
Exactly.
We're wired to want stability, familiarity, even if the familiar is, kind of unhealthy or doesn't work anymore. It just feels safer somehow to cling to what we know, even if it hurts, than face all that uncertainty of change.
That's precisely it. And that psychological conflict, it's intense. There's often this deceptive sense of stability when you hold on tight. You build this kind of facade, right, to hide the truth of how you're really feeling. But that mask, it eventually cracks. The research talks about how it leads to these sudden emotional outbursts or just this growing negativity about yourself, because the real feelings, they demand attention. And this holding on, it can actually paralyze us. Creates that feeling of running around in circles or just going nowhere. People swing between extremes,
Right.
trying to clamp down, control everything, keep super busy. Or the opposite, letting it all out, but maybe not in helpful ways. It's this exhausting internal battle.
Running around in circles, that really captures it, that feeling of being stuck on repeat. Let's make this real. Let's talk about Marlene's story. It's such a powerful example from the research. Marlene, she was in one of the studies, and she went through something truly devastating, the loss of her unborn baby.
And Marlene's initial reaction was just to cling to the idea of being a mother. She couldn't accept the loss. She described this profound emptiness, physical and emotional, like the baby was somehow still there. It was this conceptual attachment based on seeing the sonar image, but the feeling was incredibly real, incredibly powerful for her. And her internal struggle, it was just agonizing. She became aggressive, she said, didn't like the person she'd become. Her relationships, her marriage, friendships, they were really suffering. And she was caught in that cycle we talked about, either trying to control things by staying intensely, almost compulsively busy, or letting all the feelings out, often when she'd been drinking. She knew it wasn't working, but she felt completely trapped.
And what she figured out next is just, wow. It's so raw, but I think many people can relate to some version of this with grief. Marlene realized her pain, her anger, it had become this necessary link to her child. The grief itself was like a dark shadow just consuming her. She even said she felt guilty if you think of letting go. Like the pain was her baby now. So she built this wall, fooled herself, fooled others that she was okay, but inside, just running around in circles, utterly stuck, couldn't move forward.
But her turning point, though it was slow, really laborious, it was profound. It involved testing a different approach, little by little, adopting a new perspective slowly. She had to face the idea, the reality that she wasn't going to be this baby's mother. It wasn't like flipping a switch. She described it beautifully, actually, like letting the water go out slowly instead of everything at one shot.
Wow. That takes patience.
It really speaks to the incremental nature of this work sometimes and the impact. When she finally felt prepared to open herself up to it, she had this sudden insight. She called it a window to her life. The anger just lifted. She felt bombarded with beautiful things like angels sing.
Amazing.
It's this intense, sudden clarity, but it came after that long, slow period of working through it, of acceptance.
And her big takeaway, she learned to trust the process of life and to live for today. She came out feeling empowered, enriched, competent, and confident. She understood that clarity can be sudden, even if getting there, the acceptance part is slow, like opening a gift slowly. That's a great metaphor.
It really is. And Marlene's story, while it's so personal, it echoes through the other examples in the research too. It shows how universal this letting go journey is, even with different kinds of burdens. Like Ben, he let go of a job. Secure, yes, but totally unfulfilling. He called it a prison. He emigrated, embraced something new, and found this transpersonal release, like connecting to something bigger, felt needed again. That letting go opened up a whole new identity.
A prison. Yeah, some situations can feel like that.
Then there was John. He struggled for 10 years, a whole decade. To let go of a past relationship from before his marriage, it left him feeling emotionally dead. He was making huge life choices, even getting married, completely unemotionally. He realized he'd been desperately holding on, just trying to seem okay on the surface. He said he needed to go back into the jungle and let the defenses down. Really face it.
A decade is such a long time to carry that.
And Penny's story is interesting because it shows how even like environmental things can become a burden. For her, it was a persistent noise intrusion. It caused her intense distress, physical and emotional, made her feel stuck, angry, like the air was difficult to inhale.
Wow, just from noise.
Yeah, it shows how these external stressors can really get under our skin, become something we need to release internally. And finally, her struggle is maybe one many parents relate to, letting go of teenage kids as they become independent. Rationally, she knew it was normal, healthy, but emotionally, she felt intense fear of loss, rejection, being alone. It shows even natural transitions require us to let go.
It's so clear, listening to all these, that common thread, that, what did you call it? The dialectical struggle.
Yes.
Is that constant push and pull, holding on versus letting go, wanting security, but needing change. It's just human.
Wow.
So, okay, for people listening who feel stuck in that struggle, what can they actually do? What practical approaches does the research suggest?
Well, the sources point to a few key things. First, and this sounds simple, but it's crucial, acknowledging your feelings. You have to connect with your emotional world, understand it before you can process things healthily. Maybe a really simple first step is just a daily check-in. Pause for a minute. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? No judgment. Where is it in my body? Because people who repress emotions often actually struggle to even name what they're feeling. So sometimes, talking to a therapist can be really helpful just for that first step.
Right, just identifying it, naming it.
Second, think about intentional movement and stillness. If emotions get stuck physically, then moving your body, dancing, running, punching a pillow, crying, even just allowing a scream can help release that tension, that energy.
Like letting it out physically.
Exactly. Or conversely, stillness. Things like meditation, deep breathing. That can also be a powerful way to release. The main idea is letting the energy move through you, not stay trapped inside. And of course, for deeper stuff, working through trauma, doing shadow work, facing the parts of ourselves we try to ignore or disown, those are really vital psychological approaches for healing past wounds.
Yeah, it all makes so much sense. Connecting the mind, the emotions, the body. And there was one specific technique mentioned, one that's getting a lot of buzz for quick results. Emotional freedom technique. EFT. or tapping.
Yes, EFT. It's described as effective, efficacious, and evidence-based for quickly helping with stress and anxiety. The benefits are pretty compelling. It's quick, non-invasive, non-pharmaceutical. It costs nothing. It's easy to learn. You can do it yourself.
Easy to apply yourself. That's key.
Right. And reducing that stress and anxiety. That directly helps you feel better, improves psychological health. Basically, it helps calm your nervous system down. And there's an important nuance here about acceptance, too. The research makes a distinction. Accepting your mental experiences, your thoughts, your emotions, just letting them be there without fighting them, that's strongly linked to better psychological health. Less negative reaction to stress.
Okay, accepting the internal stuff.
Yes. That's different from just passively accepting an external situation, like just resigning yourself to something bad happening. That has a weaker link to well-being. So it suggests that really engaging with your feelings, allowing them to flow through you, that's more effective than just sort of passively putting up with things on the outside.
So the big takeaway here feels really profound. Letting go is more than separation. It is the experience of self in the process of change. It's not a one-and-done thing, not a checkbox. It's this continuous journey, right? An ongoing process. And often you kind of have to go back, look at the past, acknowledge it, integrate it before you can really move forward.
That's exactly right. And the outcome. It often leads to this renewed and empowered sense of self. It's a genuine transformation. It creates space for new meaning, fresh knowledge, and insights. It's about expanding who you are, your relationship with yourself, with the world, and realizing just how resilient you actually are.
So think about it. What burdens are you still carrying? Maybe ones you've gotten so used to, you barely notice them anymore. What new possibilities might open up in your life if you allowed yourself to start that journey? To truly begin letting go? What part of your own truth is just waiting to be acknowledged? And how might, by now, many are finally acknowledging it, how might that set you free?